Welcome back to another episode of To the Unknown Pod, a TGFB podcast. My name is Jordan Bush. I'm the executive director of TGFB Media. Today, I am joined by just one Island boy, Ashwa, the long lost Island boy. He's found his way home. Ashwa, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Oshawa Hawthorne. I live with my wife and 8 kids in Portland, Oregon, and lead a ministry called Brilliance Labs. That's an innovation incubator for kingdom ideas, and we try to solve problems in the world. And we use one of the problems that we're trying to solve is the funding of God's work globally, and we think Bitcoin is one of the tools that we can use for that. Um, so stoked to be on the conversation and do a little Act 17, talk about everything under the sun,
Yes,
particularly
correct.
speaking of sun, where Jordan and I were a
A beautiful
couple weeks
son.
ago.
A beautiful son it was. That's right.
Yes.
As you can see in the description of this episode, this is a review of our time in Bitcoin Beach and in San Salvador, the capital city of El Salvador, for the Plan B forum. This is where I get my little Bitcoin. Bitcoin button here. I feel like a true Bitcoin. What do you call it? Celebrity or influencer. I've got my little ask me about Bitcoin. It doesn't say that on it, but it's just one of those little beg to ask about Bitcoin. I feel like Trump with his little American flag, or like an American politician. But yeah, so Ashwa, we got invited thanks to our friends at Bitcoin Beach, Rahman, Mike Peterson. They basically, along with a whole bunch of other folks who were part of Bitcoin Circular Economies, they decided to do an event there on Bitcoin Beach called the Global Bitcoin Circular Economy Summit. So we were invited. They paid for us to fly down, paid for other people to fly down, paid good hard Bitcoin. It was one thing that was highly emphasized was we need to stop denominating things in filthy fiat and continue denominating them in the one true sound currency, Bitcoin. So yeah, we want to kind of discuss that. We also want to discuss again being there for the Plan B forum, getting to meet up with, hang out with a bunch of, again, the most well-known people in Bitcoin, people we've got, again, friends who we've had since years ago, and then some folks we met for the first time. Before we do that, okay, we just want to remind you, TGFB published our first kids book not too long ago. I actually cannot reach a copy of it, but it is called The Orange Umbrella. This is one of our little inserts that we had for those who backed our Kickstarter. The cover looks like this. On our website right now, tgfb.com/TOU, you can order full on all you want, hardcover, paperback. They're all available right now. Go get them. We also did a coloring book version. We just figured, hey, listen, if we're going to spend the time to get all these designs made, we might as well do a coloring book version. So you can go color your own. If you don't like what we did, you can get that for your kids, for you, whoever you are. Go get those. We also, humongous news, finally, all these things take way too long, released the second edition of Thank God for Bitcoin. It's
Woo!
so much better looking. If you're looking for something a little bit more polished to hand to somebody who's in your church, pastoral leadership, whoever it is, it is a great resource. I want to give a shout out to Rob. I can't remember Rob's last name right offhand. Rob, who is our designer, just did an absolute great job with the typesetting and just with the cover design and a whole bunch of stuff. So we're super grateful for him. Go get your copies. They are live on Amazon right now. I am waiting for copies to be delivered to me. So again, has a new foreword from Robert Bortons, who's the head of Classical Conversations for all you homeschool aficionados out there. Robert is a big Bitcoiner. I'm going to be actually going on his podcast here in the near future to talk more about TGFB and the kids book and what we're doing. Our event that we're going to be doing in Fort Worth, which you can find out more about at tgfb.com/conference. We're going to be doing a conference on April 9th. It's not going to be a full blown, for those of you who are in Nashville, we're not going to be doing some, big delights and all the stuff. It's going to be, we are there to be with Bitcoiners, more down to earth, a more earthy experience. So come,
An intimate
an
gathering.
intimate gathering. Go,
Yes.
come. We'd love to have you. We'd love to see you. And for the love of all that's good, do not wait until the last minute. If you know you're going to come, go get your tickets today. It's one of these things where it's difficult to plan. It's difficult to plan
Well,
where you're gonna.
okay, so let's just say I'm a prospective ticket buyer, Jordan. I want to know what speakers are going to be there. Who is going to be
Yes,
there that I know I can interact with and learn from? I'm
it's a
still
good.
waiting for that
It's a great
that
question.
speaker
Yeah. So
page
we're
to show
Jimmy.
up.
Let's see here right now. Us two right here. We will both be there. Okay. This
What
is
else more do you need?
really. I mean, that's exactly my point. I mean, just if that's not good enough, then maybe you shouldn't come. All right. No. So we're gonna have Jimmy Song will be there. We're gonna have two of our favorite mountain presbys, Jim McAndrew and Tim Fox. Pastor Reverend Tim Fox will be there. There is a whole bunch of other folks who are going to be there that you again that we can't even share their names with you right now. I have a call later this week with a couple people who we are again very interested in having who will be in town for another event that you should also go get your tickets for. That's called Bit Block Boom. Go get your tickets to there today if you're going to be anywhere around. I also want to point this out. If you know people who are in Fort Worth or Dallas who are in the area and you think they're even remotely interested, please reach out to us. Okay. The entire point of this event is to raise money for TGFB, our nonprofit endeavors that we are continuing to raise funds for. If you want to find out more about that endeavor, go to brilliancelabs.org/TGFB. That is the entire point here. So the goal or the goal is not to like sit here and make as much money as possible. If you have people who you're like, yeah, I want them to come, I want them to get exposed, but you know they're still not Bitcoiners, and so they're probably not going to be willing to pay money for ticket. Please reach out. Like, please let us know. Like, we've done this every single year. We've done the conference. We've been willing to work with people in order to get them there. That's the most important thing. So, please do that. We would love to chat more. Reach out on either Twitter or you can reach out to contact@tgfb.com, and we are happy to basically take that conversation further. Without further ado, the shilling has ceased. Oshawa, I'll let you lead off. What were your thoughts? Let's just start with the Bitcoin Circular Economy Summit. Kind of give us an overview, what it was, and then kind of your takeaways, biggest takeaways from it.
Yeah, well, it was an honor to be able to go. I slipped in. I put on my TGFB hat, and it was actually a conversation with one of the leaders of Bitcoin Beach in Lugano, where I was speaking at an event there, and at the Plan B Forum event, and he's like, "Hey, we want TGFB to come and talk about God at our global summit." I'm like, "That's amazing." And then he's talking to me, right? And he's like,
who
"I
is
want
not technically
you,
affiliated with
TGFB, to come." And I'm like, I said, "Okay, can we bring two guys?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, you guys can bring two." So I called up Jordan. "Hey, Jordan, you want to go to El Salvador in January?
Oh
I got
my
us, I
God.
got us a spot."
Love it. Love it.
So I'm sure if he was talking to you, Jordan, he would have invited you too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it just happened to be me because
It's funny.
you had to bail on the
It
trip
is
to
true.
Lugano.
It's very true.
So but hey, it worked out. All things work together
It
for
worked
good.
out. And then we had
Um,
to go suffer for Jesus down in El Salvador in the end of
eh,
January. Very difficult to
you
leave.
you Pensacola, Florida man, you don't actually get to complain. Okay,
No.
I left the gray Pacific Northwest and got some sun. I think I took my shirt off and I burned it in the first 5 minutes. But it was worth it. So highlights. I think there was folks from maybe 25 different
Mm,
nations. Am I
mm,
am I exaggerating?
no.
That sound about right?
You sound
So
about
we
right.
had we had a packed room, and these were the community leaders
Yeah.
of Bitcoin circular economies from around the world. There was a bunch of folks from Central and South America. There was folks from South Korea. Not a ton from Africa, but places in Asia, Indonesia, and yeah, it was rad to connect and hear the stories. Everyone got a chance to share, and so you were able to get a glimpse of wow, what's happening around the world. And what really struck me is the creativity of these different grassroots leaders in different cultural contexts, finding their own way to serve their community with Bitcoin. one that stood out is like the South Koreans,
Mm,
and it was so Korean. Like
yeah.
they have this Discord group with like I think several hundred people on it, and they have all the different channels and categories, and they're translating every Bitcoin book they can into Korean. They have these rules where if you want to join their Discord group, you have to prove that you have your own hardware wallet. And then and then once you can prove that, you join the Discord and you can be in their circular economy and their community, and go to their meetups. And if you like shill an altcoin or something, they put you into purgatory. They yeah, they send you to Discord prison, a special group where the only way to get out is to read a stack of 10 Bitcoin books. I kid you not. The guy is telling me, he's like, oh yeah, you have to read Bitcoin Standard and Big Print, like
Yeah.
all these
These are
things.
these are not pamphlets. This is literally the Bitcoin Standard. Like probably what's his name, Parker Lewis's book. It was like a whole host of books. You have to read all 10, or else you're stuck in Discord
No, no.
purgatory.
And then you have to write a paper about them. And then I think they have like a blackboard like Bart Simpson's, and you're like, I will not shitcoin. You have to write it like 1,000 times or something. Anyway, so
Oh my gosh.
but like it's just amazing, like the diversity of the expressions of them finding value and finding a way to have an impact where they are
Yeah.
was just really inspiring.
Yeah, another one that we'll point out again was a guy that I missed meeting in person, had met online. That was Aaron. Shout out to Aaron from Bitcoin and Goa, India. Just what was it? What's the name of his thing? Plebs Together.
Plebs together
Plebs Together Strong. That's
strong.
it. Plebs Together Strong. Shout out to Aaron. Great guy. Got to spend some really good time with him. Yeah, had heard a bunch of good stuff about him from you guys, and again, he lived up to the hype. The other one who was really neat was this guy Demas, right? Is that remember that?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Demas was in Indonesia, and he is helping run the Bitcoin meetups in Indonesia, and just got to hear a lot of the cool things, just kind of the ways that different Bitcoiners get around laws. So basically, what it was like, what was it? It was they use Lightning. Basically, they don't
No,
consider.
no,
Yeah,
it's
explain this.
so
Do
they're
it.
using Fedi, and that's
Correct.
for
That's
me.
it.
That was
That's
the
it.
other highlight,
Yeah.
which I'll talk more about because I got some time with the Fedi folks who were
Yeah.
there. But yeah, in Indonesia, there's laws around right having an alternative currency and using it for the like a medium of exchange. So they can't use Bitcoin to buy stuff, but they can use their federation. So a federation using the Fedi app, Fedi.
Yeah.
I think the website is dot xyz,
Hmm.
and so it uses Chaumian eCash, which is like anonymous bearer asset that you can digitally trade within your federation of other wallets within like this community. And so when they onboard a merchant or a new Bitcoiner, you join their Fedi community, and you open a wallet with their federation, and they have community members that are guardians that hold the keys for the funds, but they don't use the word like spend your Bitcoin, spend, like they say redeem. And so they treat it like Starbucks points. So like if you want to charge up your Starbucks card, right? You put in, go on the app, and you put $20 on it, and it takes it from your bank account, and now you have $20 in Starbucks points, right? And then when you go to spend it, you're not spending like Starbucks money, you're redeeming your credits. And so the like we accept Bitcoin here sign doesn't say that. It says redeem your Bitcoin here.
Let's go.
And so they're using their Fedi eCash, which is interoperable to Lightning.
Yeah.
So the merchant might be on Fedi, or they might just have any random Lightning wallet, and then the users redeeming their eCash to spend Bitcoin,
Yeah.
and lo and behold, and they brought this to the governing officials
Yeah.
and said, "This is what we're doing," and they're like, "Yep, that works."
Yeah.
So creative.
Yeah. It was just incredible, and they're like one of the one of the most, I guess they have like the most meetups. I mean, they had tons of meetups around the country. Obviously, Indonesia is a humongous place. I mean, not hundreds of millions. There's tens of millions of people there. There might at least 100 million. It's a humongous country. And so, yeah, it just was super encouraging to see a bunch of videos and photos of the different meetups and the things that they have going on there. Super, it just reminds you of the passage that we talk about all the time, but when it comes to Bitcoin adoption, those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick, there's tons of adoption in Indonesia. Because the people have a need. And so again, just to your point, to see people getting creative in terms of how to frame and talk about in order to continue to get the benefits of Bitcoin was really interesting. For me, I'll say probably one of the people I was most excited the person who I did not know beforehand, who I was most excited to meet was a guy named Nestor. Nestor was a Uruguayan guy who started the first Bitcoin circular economy in Punta del Este, which is about 2 hours from where my family and I used to live and minister when we lived in Uruguay. We went out there a bunch, 2 hours east. We spent a bunch of time out there. Our best Uruguayan friends live not far from there, about 10 minutes away. And so 3 months before we were there in El Salvador, he founded basically the Punta Bitcoin meetup. And so he started meeting up. And he actually, right when it first started, he somehow got connected with Valentin Popescu, who is a Romanian guy who ended up going to a Bible college in Argentina, and then ended up getting into Bitcoin. And for the last few years, has been helping the Motive Peru Bitcoin Circular Economy project. And so Valentin they got connected at an event somewhere, and Valentin went within a week or two, went to Uruguay to go visit with him and did their first meetup and just did a whole bunch of, brought some materials with them and some stickers and all this kind of stuff. So it was really neat to get to hear his story. And then just to hear how he got into Bitcoin and just how excited he was to be there. He found out that he was coming, that the Bitcoin Beach team was going to pay for his flight literally 3 days before he left. So it was very last minute, kind of out of nowhere. He showed me on his phone. It was a tweet from 3 years ago when there was some announcement that was made about Bitcoin Beach. And 3 years ago, he tweeted, "Someday I'm going to go to Bitcoin Beach and I'm going to surf on Bitcoin Beach." And so we got to see him surf and while we were there, and he got to do that and was super grateful and excited. So I will just say, again, super grateful to Mike and Rahman and their whole team. All the guys just did a fantastic job. All the drivers, they put everybody up, so it was no small expense to both fly everybody there and then to put everybody up for a week. So very, very grateful for their ministry to us and just the investment of capital and making sure that event happened and went off super smoothly. And also that, again, we got to be connected with people all over the world. I mean, I would say pretty much every South American country was represented, either formally via a project or informally from somebody who is from one of those countries. There were, I think, at least a couple African countries, and then a number of Asian countries, European. There were a bunch of representatives from in El Salvador. I think there was like four different Salvadorian circular economy projects who were there. Berlin was one, and there was just some really, really great Bitcoiners. Again, we sit here, we talk about Bitcoin every day, all the time, and when you're surrounded by it so much, you talk about it so much, you can just take for granted. You can just take for granted that. Just the things that things about Bitcoin. There was one guy, I cannot remember his name. It's like escaping me right now. One of his presentations that he did was just how to answer objections to Bitcoin. And it was very interactive.
The guy from Spain.
Yes.
I don't remember his name either.
I don't know. He wasn't from Spain. That was Jordy. Shout out to Jordy. He's a good dude. This was another guy. He was living there
somewhere in Europe though, right?
Yeah, originally from somewhere. Yeah, I want to say it was like it wasn't Slovakia. Maybe it was one of those Eastern European countries. But this dude did such a good job, and I went up and I said to him 2 times, dude, like that was incredible. Just like we had to do like a play acting thing where we had to pretend like, okay, somebody says this to you, what do you say? And he did such a great job of answering and helping people to think through their answers in a way that wasn't demeaning, in a way that didn't just use insider language. He just did a great job. And so I was sitting there, I'm like, oh man, how can we get this guy to Fort Worth for our event? Because he just did such a great job. So I don't know if there's anything else from Bitcoin Beach that sticks out.
Yeah, I mean, so connections. Yeah, you had the founder of Fedi was there,
Yep.
along with Obi
Obi,
and Renata.
Renata. Yep.
That was just a great honor to get time with them, understand more of Fedi's vision, how far they've come over the last year and a half. We're exploring some things around the community that we're trying to build and trying to find the right kind of app infrastructure for that. And so we're going to do some exploration with Fedi, and some partnerships that we're looking at. Also got time with the Paystand people. They're building some awesome things, and so that's
Shout,
another honor. And
yeah.
then, man, I got to go bodyboarding and surfing with Mike Peterson and Joe Nakamoto,
Mm,
and man, that was a blast.
yeah. Shout out to
Watch the
Joe.
sunset from the surf.
Yep. Shout out to Joe. Got some good time with him. Got some good time with Becca from Anchor Watch. It was great to see her. She's a friend. I'm trying to think, who else did we see? We got to see Scott from the Bit. I have it over here. It's working. What is it? BitAxe, from the BitAxe project. Scott.
Uh-huh.
We've
That
me and
was
him.
fun.
Yeah, first hung out at the Ocean launch in South Carolina a few years ago. That's when I got my BitAxe, and so it was cool to see him and just see how far that project has come. He estimated, somebody asked him how many BitAxes have you are out there in the wild, and he's basically like, well, he's like, there's estimates of about 100,000. It just totally blew my mind. I was not expecting anywhere near that. And he's like, I'm not responsible for even the majority of those. He's like, just people, you just kind of put it out there in the world. I'm not building them, but like, put it out there in the world, and just people are going ham to make them. So he also was talking about there's a bunch of Chinese knockoffs that you can find on Timo, whatever. How do you pronounce that thing?
Yeah, you got it.
Whatever it is. There's a bunch of, ones that are lower quality, and, but yeah, it just was great to hang out with him. It's great. So that was that event. We ended up staying in the same house that we stayed in when we were there a couple of years ago. Fond memories. Asha was teaching me just the incredible design that the Lord made, and with coconuts, which is like, there's like a soft spot on the top of coconut that is pretty much like designed to have a straw stuck into it. It's just crazy. So we drank a bunch of coconut water while we were there, again, suffering for Jesus. So we did that. That was the first part of the week. And then the last part of the week, we actually stayed in Bitcoin Beach the whole week. And then, but the last 2 days, or almost the 2 last days that we were there, we would drive in the mornings to San Salvador for the Plan B El Salvador forum. This was a full-on Bitcoin conference presented by Tether. I had a good Tether article I was going to get into. We'll have to save it for next time. But yeah, Tether put on this conference. It was a really great event, really went off with a hitch, very well prepared. I got to see Giacomo Zucco and his lovely wife. They have just done a great job to prepare and put together a bunch of stuff. That guy, man, Giacomo was running all over the place. They had him, he was on probably, I think he was on at least like 5 or 6 different stages, 5 or 6 different presentations. Just was great to see him. Jimmy Song was in town. We got to hang out with Jimmy. Saifedean was in town. I will say, I did get to speak. Had the honor to speak on the first day of that conference. Got to speak in Spanish. They were still looking for Spanish speakers, and so I got to speak a little Espanol and just kind of talk about orange pilling. I think it's on Rumble. I think they uploaded all the things to Rumble. So if you're interested in hearing a gringo struggle with Spanish, by all means.
So Jordan, so you got to think about the people. They don't want the name dropping. They want the signal. Okay, you got to give us the signal. What?
Okay, so here's the signal.
You got to spend time with all these people.
Yes.
Okay.
So here's the signal.
What's the signal that you were getting? What did you learn
Well,
Because
here's
I was in some fascinating conversations. I'm thinking like we got time with the author, with Jonathan, the author of Block Size Wars,
yep, Jonathan
talking
Beer,
Epstein files with him.
correct. Yep.
Wow.
Shout out to Jonathan. We also talked with him about the how the internet went from being the home of the atheists to the home of the Christians. That was a very fascinating conversation. Jonathan was not a Christian and is not a Christian, but was just fascinated to see that transformation and was talking about that. I'm trying to think in terms of, I mean, just in terms of my goals. Obviously, was like to hang out with people who we've become friends with. So got to hang out with Bitcoin Mechanic and have a whole bunch of conversation with him and Luke Dash Jr. About theology. Is always enjoyable. So again,
Enjoyable, really?
oh no, it was great. Like, yeah, Luke is just one of the most passionate, just straightforward people that can possibly be about pretty much everything, at least everything I've ever talked to him about. And so we get some conversations where, again, we surprising areas of agreement where, he's we just he has some criticisms of the evangelical world specifically that again are fair critiques, and so we're able to do that, and so had a good long conversation with them. Got to hang out with oh shoot, oh man, I see his face. He's been one of the big proponents of fighting against spam. Chris Guida. Got to hang out with Chris. Chris is a friend. Again, had a bunch of conversations about theology with him too. It was me, him, and Mechanic and Luke just all talking about theology, and he was asking a bunch of questions. Real interesting guy. We got some time to talk about policy with the Bitcoin Policy Institute folks. We hung out with them for a few hours the second day. Mills, shout to Mills. I got to hang out with her out there. I get to hang out at a house just talking through the Clarity Act, the things preventing the Clarity Act from going through, whether or not we were optimistic and they were optimistic. Who cares about us? Whether or not they were optimistic that the Clarity Act was going to get passed, and got to talk with Patrick Witt, who's the head of the president's blockchain council or whatever.
Yeah. What was his? Okay, I don't want to get the percentage wrong, but from talking to the insiders, and we were asking, okay, the odds of the Clarity Act getting
Yeah.
through, didn't they put it at about 50%?
I think he put it at like 55. It was like 55,
Okay.
45. Again, I've even heard since then, I've heard even more optimistic things. It seems like they're close. It really, the big topic
Yeah.
of discussion was Coinbase.
Homeboy.
Yeah, it was all Coinbase just going
Come on,
rogue.
Armstrong. Come on.
Yeah.
Get with the program.
His arms weren't very strong. I'll tell you that right now. He wasn't strong in arming anybody. But yeah, he like went rogue and just kind of criticized the points of agreement that they had, kind of shot him in the foot. And so got to talk about that. Got to hear kind of from his perspective, just what's going on and just what his day to day looks like. He's a believer, so we get to talk to him about that too, and kind of his story. Yeah, he's a former football player, and so we get to talk a lot about how he got into Bitcoin and levels of interest there. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, we had some real good conversation with the Bitcoin Policy Institute people. David Zell was there. Who else? Got some good time with Stephen Pollock. Shout out to Stephen. He's a good friend. Who else was there? We get to meet a bunch of the Bitcoin Policy Institute people that I've never met. They're a couple of people who are based out west. To get some good time with them. Connor, who used to work for Senator Lummis's office. We actually finished our time with them just discussing house music. We were like sitting as we were waiting for our Uber. We were just
And anime.
and anime. That's right.
They totally went off on all their favorite anime shows.
I am not an anime person, so it was wild just to see the enthusiasm about anime. But we did discuss that. I'm trying to think what else. What were some of the? There was one.
Yeah.
Well, I guess before we get to that kind of stuff, my one thing that I was trying to do outside of doing speaking was trying to give out copies to to Bitcoin influencers of the copies of the Orange Umbrella, our kids' book. So I had like my targets. So I had like 15 books that I was trying to give out to people. Got about 11 of them given out. The most encouraging one was Jack Mallers. We got to meet up with Jack and got to give him a copy of the book. He was like super excited about it. Starts looking through it, and then later found out, just was like, hey, appreciate what you do. Great to meet you, and then just kind of went on our way. and then found out later from one of the Bitcoin Policy Institute people that he was like showing it to all the kinds of people. So we were like, hey, let's go. So that was encouraging to see people, enjoy the book after so much work and craziness went into it. Got to give Safety a copy. Got to take part in the debate that he had with this couple. It was hilarious. Just Safety is a pro monarchy guy, and I'm a monarchy sympathizer. So they were discussing the whether or not monarchy was was the best form of government, and so he's like half arguing, half like mocking, half looking at me when he realized that I was a sympathetic voice, and it was just so funny. Being safe in real life and not just on the internet. I'm trying to think. What else? Was there anything else that sticks out to you?
Well, so I mean, the lesson for me is you can just go do stuff, and you can just go meet people,
Yeah.
and showing up at these events. So I've gone to most of the Bitcoin conferences in the States, and then now some internationally, as well, and be there and genuinely seek to add value.
Yep.
Bring your creativity, bring your gifts, and then just share them, and seek to be an encouragement to people.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you make friends. Now, not all of us are the social butterfly that is Jordan Bush, and he just has a way of knowing everyone. Honestly, I was passed out, curled up in the fetal position on a hammock because of food poisoning.
Yeah, that did happen.
Like
I wasn't
half
going to bring
of the
that
second
up,
day. Yeah. We're not going to talk about that part of our journey to El Salvador and Montezuma.
We said, listen, I don't know if Montezuma ever actually made it to El Salvador, but he made it that week. All right, it was bad.
Yeah. So, but when I finally got up and I could tag along with Jordan, just so people really are seeking God. They are genuinely just trying to find a way to contribute, try to find their place in this industry, in this community. And when you show up ready to have just a spirit of generosity and an openness, listening to where is the Spirit already at work,
Yeah.
and you just start talking to people, you realize that there's just so many open hearts.
Yeah.
I mean, be able to multiple people that we were able to pray with.
Yeah.
I mean, having the summit host say, "Hey, come and talk to us about God." Having the Bitcoin Policy Institute people wanting to talk about the Lord, have just amazing conversations. And I don't if you've never gone to a Bitcoin conference and you've never gone genuinely seeking, okay, God, where are you at work?
Yeah.
That might just feel strange and foreign. But honestly, if you're a Christian, you're a Bitcoiner, you should have in your missions budget kind of, hey, where could I go this year where I can have an impact? You should go to a Bitcoin conference.
Yep.
And shadow Jordan Bush, and you're going to meet all these people, and you'll be surprised at how many of them are open to talking about God, and are happy to get to know you.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, it's one of these things that it never ceases to amaze me. Again, they're just between the two of us. It's just everywhere you go, just these topics. I mean, spiritual things would come up, and there'd be people who were, either already believers who you're like, oh, wow, that's wild. I never do that. And there's other people who are just more willing to talk about it, more willing to consider it than they ever have been. And so, yeah, we just kind of walked. We always joke about this every time me and you go to someplace together. It's kind of we just walk from one, appointed conversation to the next. And, it really is. It's one of those things where it's just easy to get used to just your normal life, right? You get used to your normal routine and you're like, oh yeah, this is just my life. And yet it's when you do have a break from your quote unquote normal life, it's easy to kind of just count those days, and, number the days, number the hours, and just try to make a good use of it. And just be amazed by what the Lord does. We actually went over that with in our Bible study this morning with my son. We were talking about we asked the Lord to help us to number our days and number our hours as we were working today. And yeah, I'm never cease to be amazed. Just the opportunities the Lord brings up. So yeah, I mean, this is if you can get to Lugano, then I mean, go for it. Obviously, Bitcoin's down right now, so all of us are poor. But but if sometime later in the year you can get to either Fort Worth, I mean, if you can get to BitBlock Boom or in the TGFB event, that'd be great. If you can't, there's somewhere else, an event that's closer to you, whether it's Vegas later in April, whatever it is, like you and we're gonna be there at these events, and we would love to just hang out with you and both to help you network with other Christians and find other Christians who are in the space, and also just to meet other folks in general. It is, yeah, it is. Ashwa says it half jokingly, but like I literally just walk around the entire time. I barely go to any of the speaker events. I just go around and just meet people and get such joy. I just get to introduce people to other people. It is just so fun just to think about the big picture of what the Lord is doing, and just to see again, even in these small ways, like the Lord just kind of moving people, in from one place to another, and just you can just see the Lord's hand in it. And again, there's one situation we won't even go into where it just was staggeringly amazing to see the Lord directly kind of handing off one person, somebody being handed off from like one believer unknowingly to another. It just was crazy. So highly recommend these kind of events, and if you can take part in them, get there and just again ask the Lord to just give you opportunities to share about Him, and again, to your point, Ash, add value. This is one thing I took away watching you just interact with people throughout the week is, like it's easy everywhere, right? It's easy to just want to just, either there's some people, I just want to meet this person. I want to meet these. I want to be known. I want to be known by all these famous people. But like, if you're actually just focused on the ideas, if you're just like, you want to know what people think, I mean, there's no shortage of people who are willing to engage with ideas. It's one of the best parts about about Bitcoin things is it's not that there's no respecters of persons, that there's nobody who's there glory hunting, trying to be known and trying to be impressive. But there is much more willingness to try to find the best ideas and try to engage with ideas that are outside of your competence, outside of, your normal, discussions. There is, because people are, again, the Bitcoiners are problem solvers, and they're looking for, unique perspectives to help them solve problems that they're interacting with. Actually, I'll just close with this. One of the things that we talked about that Obi, the founder of Fedi, one of the things that he said was, he's like, yeah, we've kind of come to the conclusion. We were talking about, he's like, we've kind of come to the conclusion that people of faith make some of the best community leaders for Bitcoin, for Bitcoin communities. And again, in my mind, that makes total sense, right? Because like in a lot of these communities where there are people of faith, what are they there for? Like, why are they there? They're there because they value people. Like, even if it's this far-flung place and there's not lots of money to be made, there's people there who are bearing God's image. And there's people who are there ministering to them, and who are thrilled to endure poverty and hardship and whatever, to be there for the people. And so when Bitcoin is presented, and they come across Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's presented as a tool to help people, it's a means to an end rather than an end in of itself. They have found this guy who is not a Christian, he acknowledges that he's seen this same thing that we've been seeing for years as well, and something that we want to see more of in the future. So just tons of conversations. I mean, we could sit here for literally another 2 hours and go through some of the different conversations we've had. But Ash, anything else you want to add? We're coming up here on the end of our time. I've got an event at church to run off to, but
no, I mean, I would just say, as we finalize all of our details for merging our work more formally, we want to build the community. We want to find folks that are working globally in the space of serving God and using Bitcoin. We want to see the church equipped. We want to work with folks locally. We want to see nonprofit partners, for-profit businesses. Reach out to us. We would love to talk. We'd love to find a way to collaborate. We have lots of things on on
Yeah.
the cooker, and we love to find ways to collaborate.
Yeah, and this honestly, it's like this is obviously you have like in the scriptural context, you have the concept of like the labor or the harvest is plenty and the laborers are few. Like
Hmm.
obviously, I'm not comparing the level of importance here, but like the same thing is very true. I mean, like between the two of us, the amount of like awesome potential to do stuff is literally overwhelming. Like there's more than we can do. We're sitting here as fathers of lots of kids, and we're sitting here like, oh man, would love to do this, but I don't have time, or we don't have the resources or whatever it is. And so if this is something where if there's something that you'd like to be involved in, like reach out to us. If there's something where you'd like to do and you're like, hey, I don't have the time to go do that, but I'd love to give resources to make that happen. Like let's go. And I think one of the things that we're going to talk more about in this regard, as you and I, one of the big takeaways from the conference or from our time in El Salvador that was just super encouraging to me was just the need to put together try to put together like a peer-to-peer Bitcoin circular economy, like a connection between basically trying to connect the missions world and connect cross-cultural workers, have like a network where they can use Bitcoin, and trying to connect that with existing Bitcoin circular economies and existing Bitcoin, people who are leveraging Bitcoin around the world. This is something that we really want to work on this year, and so that's as we've talked about, like that's one of the things that I'll be working on if we can, when we continue to raise the funds for TGFB. So like this is something that has, I mean, even more direct ministry potential than even much of the other stuff that was on kind of my agenda, things that I was like kind of weighing through, spending time focusing on. So yeah, just the prospect of working in that was super thrilling to me, kind of coming down to it and just basically seeing the need and seeing like, oh yeah, this is just such a natural fit for me and for just kind of some of the things that the exciting announcements that Brilliance Labs is going to be making in the next month and a half or so. There's just all kinds of great things that it seems like the Lord wants done. So we're going to keep working, keep stepping out, and trusting that the Lord's gonna make that happen. So, Ash, grateful for you. Thank you for all of you who are out there and joining us again for episode 41 of To the Unknown Pod. We will be back on Tuesday with the Island Boys next Tuesday for another conversation with all of them. Go ahead, go check out the TGFB store.tgfb.com. Go grab yourself some books for you or your loved ones, and we will be back with you very soon. Like, share, comment on all of the platforms. We will see you on the next episode of To the Unknown Pod.
Mm.
And for some reason,
We're still live. Let's
we're
just do it
still
live.
live. I don't know why it's not doing it. It's not letting me stop. It's saying trying to connect. Let's see if we can do this.
And so we're still live. It's brought us to this moment when Jordan wouldn't want me to tell you this, but I'm gonna. Oh, wait, he's back.